Following the events of Assassin's Creed 3, the present-day storyline continues with Abstergo Industries, now revitalized, delving into Desmond's genetic memories using samples from his deceased body. With the aid of cloud computing technology, the Animus makes a return in the form of a makeshift virtual reality headset. In the present-day sequences, played from a first-person perspective, an unnamed protagonist is hired by Abstergo to explore the memories of Edward Kenway, an 18th-century pirate and Haytham Kenway's father from Assassin's Creed 3. This endeavor serves the purpose of creating an Animus-powered interactive film. Under the pretense of producing the film, Abstergo, which represents the Templars in the present time, seeks a first civilization structure known as the Observatory. In the meantime, players embark on an adventure immersed in the swashbuckling pirate tale. After surviving a shipwreck, Edward kills a renegade assassin named Duncan Walpole and assumes his identity to attend a Templar meeting in Havana. Edward uncovers a conspiracy involving high-ranking Templars within the British and Spanish empires who are in search of the sage, later revealed to be Bartholomew Roberts, to locate the observatory. The observatory is a first civilization device capable of monitoring anyone when provided with a blood sample. The Templars' plan is to spy on and manipulate world leaders while disguising their nefarious scheme as an effort to eliminate pirates in the surrounding regions. Edward's reckless actions jeopardize the entire assassin order, prompting him to pursue the sage and the conspirators all the way to Jamaica. Eventually, Edward catches up to Roberts on the island of Principe. In line with the series' traditional storytelling approach of encountering historical figures, Edward encounters a group of rogue pirates on his journey. Here, he meets Edward Blackbeard Thatch, Mary Red, disguised as James Kidd, and other outcast pirates who envision a pirate utopia. With Edward's assistance, they seize control of Nassau and establish a pirate republic. However, the newly formed pirate state teeters on the edge of collapse, leaving its founders divided on how to restore order. Despite Edward's attempts to intervene, his efforts prove futile. Along the way, Blackbeard announces his retirement from piracy. Eventually, Edward and Roberts discover the location of the observatory and retrieve its power source. Unfortunately, Roberts betrays Edward at the last moment, resulting in Edward's imprisonment. After a brief period behind bars, Edward escapes with the help of Tabai, the assassin mentor, and decides to join their order. Hunting down and eliminating Roberts and the Templar conspirators, Edward retrieves the artifact and returns it to the observatory, sealing it away for good. However, he suffers losses along the way, including the death of Blackbeard, which fuels his vengeful mission to stop Roberts and the others. Despite facing an uncertain future, Edward receives a letter informing him of his wife's passing and the arrival of his daughter, Jennifer Scott. Edward travels back to England, promising Tabai that he will continue the fight against the Templars on his home turf. Years later, Edward, Jennifer, using her mother's surname in her memory, and Edward's young son Haytham attend a play in an English theater. Alternating with Edward's swashbuckling adventure, the present-day sequences focus on a straightforward narrative. The unnamed protagonist is contacted by John, Abstergo's IT manager, who assigns the task of hacking various computers and extracting information for Sean Hastings and Rebecca Crane, who are undercover agents infiltrating Abstergo. When the facility is locked down after the hacks are discovered, John leads the protagonist to the core of the Animus, where, upon flipping a switch, Juno, a member of the first civilization, appears in an ethereal form. Juno explains that although opening her temple was necessary to prevent a catastrophe, the world is not yet prepared for her, and she vanishes. At this moment, John reveals himself to be the reincarnated form of the sage and attempts to kill the unnamed player to cover up what has transpired. However, before he can do so, he is eliminated by Abstergo's security. With the sage dead, the story concludes with the player being contacted by the assassins, who are continuing their infiltration of Abstergo, but are unable to disclose many details regarding the enigmatic sage. This marks the end of the main narrative. While the story features standout moments such as encounters with Blackbeard and Robert's betrayal, the rest of the plot fails to leave a lasting impression compared to the captivating and enjoyable gameplay experience. This is particularly evident in the present-day timeline, where the narrative struggles to match the compelling pirate theme, resulting in a weaker plot. By the end of the game, the nameless protagonist remains a mystery, and this lack of identity significantly hampers the game during the modern sequences. Nevertheless, Assassin's Creed IV: Black Flag manages to carve out its own identity, albeit with a forgettable narrative overshadowed by its immersive and fully realized world. Overall, the game excels in creating an engaging and satisfying character journey with Edward Kenway, whose story stands as one of the stronger narratives in the Assassin's Creed series. The conclusion involving Edward's daughter serves as a fitting and gratifying way to bring the story to a close, symbolizing a passing of the torch for the events of Assassin's Creed III. In summary, while the present-day storyline falls short compared to the compelling pirate theme, Assassin's Creed IV: Black Flag manages to establish its own identity and delivers an enjoyable gameplay experience. The narrative may not be memorable, but Edward Kenway's adventure and the richly crafted world make it a noteworthy entry in the series.